takes a lot of time to start the recording. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, all right, cool. It took like I don't know, 20 seconds to start the recording. All right, so hello everyone. This is the community weekly meeting on the 10th of February, and we have an open discussion today. From the bugs that we've seen, there were new bugs that were opened by Patrick and Quentin. So we still have some things that we need to advance in regards to lambdas, and we are covering the gaps. Liran will update on the things that he added, the PRs that he added. I will just do a quick start on regarding the authentication issue that you've opened last week. I will just start sharing my screen in order to show the relevant PRs. So just a moment. Want to present the screen available right now. This is weird. I'm not getting permissions to share my screen. Okay, I don't want to relog. I don't know why. So, Liran, can you be a presenter, please? Because I don't want to relog for some reason. I have some problems with my configuration regarding the permissions in Chrome.
Sure. So, what do you want me to?
So please open this PR in regards to the fixes that we were talking about. So I've sent the link in the NooBaa community in the chat to figure out why I don't have permissions to share my screen. Figure out this email.
I just mute. Hi guys, do you see the PR, Genia?
Hi.
Hey. We lost Genia?
Yeah, he had some issues with sharing and everything, so I think we lost Genia.
Okay, so should I stop sharing? Or not?
No, give me a second, I will ping him.
Okay.
There you go, Genia, but you're on mute.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I had some drops. Right, so you know what? As you can see by the presentation of Liran, the issue, so there was an issue that is linked, if you can open the 6371. So the issue was in regards to authorization on namespace buckets. The thing was that whenever we have a namespace bucket, we allow users to access the namespace bucket anonymously. I mean, this is the case that was in the issue, that you can actually do an anonymous request to the endpoint, and you will be able to download the files that are located in the namespace bucket. we previously had some code that should have handled those things. So I did a fix on that part. If you can go to the PR, so I did a fix to the code that handles the logic in regards to the authorization, and I've also added, if you can go to the testing file down below. So I've also added a unit test for this case. It is a simple unit test right now. Basically, what it does is it just creates the namespace bucket and then uploads an object, tries to read an object using the credentials, and then it tries to create an anonymous request using the request library in order to see if we receive an error and we get an authentication error. So from previous conversation, we also backported this fix to 5.7 version, and it is also merged in our master version for the noobaa-core. So I understand from you, Patrick and Quentin, that you've currently built the master branch of noobaa-core, and you are trying to right now get your cluster to run the latest version in order to verify that this fixes the issue that you've had with the anonymous request on namespace buckets. Is that right?
Yeah, probably won't roll out today. I will test it tomorrow morning, and then if everything's fine, I will roll it out in all our environments.
All right, great. So this is in regards to this issue. So do you have something to add to this? Is there something that we've missed, or is only the anonymous? Obviously, I've coded the code in order to recognize the access keys and anonymous requests. Do you have any other flows that you are interested in regards to authentication with namespace buckets that maybe I did not cover?
Yeah, maybe anonymous upload. Didn't try this yet. Is this possible currently? Is it default possible? Or
so I've blocked this as well because if basically what I do is we currently don't have an option to create anonymous requests on our namespace buckets. This is something that we did not implement. So I've just stick to this implementation. So if this is a flow that interests you to work with anonymous buckets, with namespace buckets anonymously, obviously it can be somehow configured, but we just need to check this flow because we did not test this flow.
Yeah, this would be very low priority for us. So just wanted to check with you. But for now, it's we are very happy that you fixed this fast. So this major security issue is not another problem. It's just for now, it's perfect if anonymous upload and download is disabled by standard.
It should be. So please make sure that that's the case. Obviously, I will add another test in order to verify that the upload won't work as well anonymously, just in case. But yeah, I will add more tests to this, and obviously you will also, I will get the input from you in regards to your system if the fix if the fix is okay for your use cases. So this is in regards to the authentication bugs. I think that if we can, we will switch to the Lambda gaps that we have and the Lambda efforts that we did. I think that maybe Liran, do you want to take action on this because you were the one filling up the issues and the gaps that were raised in previous meetings?
Yes, sure. So I've made a PR about the Lambda retries and the error in the database. I've tested it, and today I changed it to retries instead of attempts, as Patrick suggested. That should be in now. So the PR is already updated. Regarding the changing the code itself to be a string in the database, I didn't do it yet. So, but this is it should not affect anything. Just the Postgres will not work with lambdas, right, Genia?
Yeah, so the thing that we said, the use case with storing our functions inline instead of using some backing for that. So yeah, it is fixed for the Postgres solution. But I think like from our previous meetings, I think that the fixing for the logs of the Lambda functions, the invocation logs on errors, is more important than the fixing for the Postgres invocation of lambdas, unless something was changed in regards to the priorities metric that you know.
No, so that's perfect. Just one thing I commented, Leon, maybe you overread it. It would be perfect if there would be a message in the database if the retries are exceeded. So if it has 2 retries and both, so all 3 attempts fail, then there should be a message in the database saying that the retries are exceeded. That would be very helpful.
Yeah, I guess we can do it, but the reason I didn't edit it is the retries themselves are in the trigger and not in the invoke, and the invoke itself is writing the func into the database. It's not an issue. We can carry the number of retries it did into the invoke, but this was the reason that I didn't do it. So if you think it's valuable, we can just edit.
Yeah, this would be really helpful, so we can check against the database if some trigger exceeded the retry limit.
Yeah, but it will be. I will do it like if we have an error, so the number of retries. I will not because every invoke is doing a collection of a func state. So every I will add a field that said this was the number 3 attempt or retry. Okay.
Okay, that's sufficient.
Okay. So I will edit, and that is regarding the triggers. Regarding the I'm still sharing my screen, right? So regarding this PR, that you asked me today to rebase, I've rebased it. I think I fixed the issue that the core itself didn't get the output of the flag. It was because we changed the value to be in the environment variables. So I missed that in the rebase, and I fixed it. It should be in right now. But my question is regarding to this PR is, if you're using it, we can add it to the master. I don't see a reason why.
I would love if you could add it to the master. I'd really love it.
We thought that, oh, we're gonna drop it, so that's why no one even look at it and review it. So
I linked another issue there. If you scroll a little bit up, there's another issue I linked, which I state that we are using it.
This one, right?
No, scroll a little bit up.
Yeah,
Or it should be the same, but here you can see the feature request. There it's the same, yeah, but they are linked it. So we are currently using this with the high availability of the MongoDB.
So Nimrod, what do you think? Someone can review it and we can get it in?
Yeah, we'll try to take care of it tomorrow.
Oh, perfect. You're making my life a lot easier.
Can you, and if you can ping me that it was fixed or not, this the code that didn't get the value, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll check that out tomorrow too.
Nice, thanks. So that's it for me.
So in regards, just to clarify, in regards to the Lambda configuration of retries, you understand, like this question is targeted to Patrick and Quentin. You understand how to configure those, and everything is fine. You don't need any more input on that, right?
Currently not. I did not try to add a retry via the API, but I think this should work too.
All right. Okay. So in regards to the tasks that we need to work on to make the Lambda feasible for you, like fully feasible, it is the highest priority is still adding those invocation errors in a separate collection in the DB. Each invocation will have a counter of retry. This is something that we concluded right now in the discussion, that each invocation error will also indicate the number of the retry for the invocation. And the next step would be is to add the possibility of just putting the code inline to the database in order to run it on Postgres. So those are the priorities in regards to that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sure. So I know that I mean the issue in regards to the deployment of NooBaa DB of Postgres DB that you've had in the last week or the current week with the incorrect image of using Mongo image and Postgres. So I assume that you've started deploying with the Postgres and trying it out. Can you update on your obviously I hope that you've advanced and can you update more on this, or did you just leave it and did something else meanwhile?
So Quentin, do you want to have a go?
Yeah, sure. So we rolled out the images on our cluster as well, and had a first look inside our Postgres. And we have seen some of the tables there, and have seen some of the structures. And from the first glance we had, we didn't really see what is the plan for the structure of these tables. So what is the idea behind the storage that is, or the way it is stored, the information inside the database? Because we have seen just the ID and data, and so it's not like a normalized database. It's just like copy and paste from MongoDB file-based inside a relation-based database right now.
Yes, so this is what we did currently. I mean, the current solution is we wanted to make a simple transition, and we still want to use the data using, we've used it as NoSQL with JSON, so as documents. So what we did is we have basically for every structure, for every table, we have two columns. The first column is the ID, and the second column is just the data column, which is a JSON-B object. And this object basically maps one-to-one to the document that we had in our MongoDB solution. And inside of NooBaa, inside the core, what we do is we have a component that translates queries to our previous queries to JSON-B queries, and obviously indexing on top of JSON-B and etc. And this is like the current solution that we have for Postgres, and it should be quite simple to start understanding what is happening in the database, because it's basically the same like you've said. So you are right about it. We only have two columns, and the second column is the basic document using the JSON. So you understood correctly the transition that we had.
Have you made any performance tests on this mechanism? So as we had seen some issues with the func stats in the MongoDB, have you made some tests with this mechanism in place for the Postgres already?
So we did some basic measurements on indexes in regards to data flows, but we did not do any measurements in regards to func stats and etc. We are still, like I said in the previous community meeting, we're still actively working on the Postgres solution and always adding more things and optimizing it. So we do not have any like baseline that we currently have in regards to the whole measurement of the whole system. We did not do that yet.
So is the plan to keep it in the NoSQL part of Postgres or to move to SQL?
So there were communication in regards to maybe adding more columns and using a sort of a hybrid model of having columns for indexes that are in the table, and all of the unstructured data that we want, keeping it as JSON-B. But we did not advance on it. And currently the plan for currently is to stay as it is, having the JSON-B data and having the ID column. But this is something that we can obviously change. I mean, when we will come and start optimizing our system, it is a possibility of us moving out some and creating some columns from the data of the JSON-B in order to get better performance, right? But the current solution is the solution that we are running with, right? for as of today.
I think maybe Quentin. Sorry, Jenny. Just I think Quentin, maybe a good thing for us to learn is: do you see any benefit from changing?
Yeah, on the first glance, we don't see any issue, but we're not sure if the performance is the same, especially in our case when we have a lot of invocations coming up front and translating the old NoSQL statement to SQL and then retranslating and so on. And so it will be a test from our side if it will be fast enough for the func stats or if there's an issue upcoming. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be, right, serialization. I think it's always, but I'm not. I mean, it's really hard to predict, and this is why we looked at it. Yeah, and this is where we looked at it and said, well, maybe we should start. You know, instead of pre-optimization, like doing like premature assumptions on how this behaves, if the bottleneck is really in this JSON serializations or things like that, and still most of our data structures are are mostly insert based. There are modifications, of course, but still I think inserts are much more dominant.
So I'm not as familiar with this JSON-B. Is this the Postgres NoSQL way? Or because as far as I know,
yes.
Postgres offers this NoSQL way. So this then shouldn't be a problem. Because when
it is the way for you to work with Postgres in a NoSQL way is using JSON-Bs, and they have indexing on JSON-Bs, so it is obviously indexed, and you don't waste a lot of time querying those JSON-Bs because we also created the necessary indexes and optimized. I mean, we worked on the optimization for the indexes for JSON-B as well. So it isn't like that you are having a big hit, but on lookups for the JSON-B, because this is the Postgres solution. This is not something that we've invented, like the JSON-B object and properties.
Okay, perfect. Quentin and I were just not sure about it because when we had a quick glance at it with Heidi SQL, we just saw that the data type was shown as unknown. So we're a little bit puzzled what was happening there. So if you say this is the Postgres NoSQL way, I'm definitely sure and you have edited indexes, I'm sure we won't have that much of a problem.
Yeah,
but it should look like a JSON-B column, right, Jenny? Like the data column.
It looks like a JSON-B, surely, but it's not recognized as this data type.
With the tool we use to view the database, maybe with a different tool it would show up correctly.
Oh,
so maybe there's an attribute we should set. I'm not sure, but if you see a tool that doesn't work well, maybe just highlight that for us, and we'll
so see. We're using Heidi SQL. Don't know if you know this. Just put it in the chat. Which one are you using for viewing the Postgres SQL data?
To be honest, I'm just using the
CLI, right?
Just the CLI of the Postgres.
Okay.
It is just for visualization, and it's a nice tool.
PSQL, right? This one.
Yeah, PSQL, the CLI, the official CLI of Postgres.
Yeah, sure.
So what do you use it
it-
for? So sorry, I'm trying to just learn a little bit. So do you use it for visualization of the performance of what can you gain from it? What do you use it for?
Just to have a graphical user interface for the database, so you have you can click around and not have to know all the quirks of the CLI.
You can use it for importing, exporting databases, and queries can be stored in it, and so it's a bit more than just a viewer, but it's not.
You save your queries and things like
right.
these, right? Okay.
It's more for debugging.
We'll try
Like
it
I said,
if it's open. Seems like it's open, right?
Yeah, it's open source and it's pretty good.
Great. So it's good to know.
Yeah, we did not use maybe. I mean, obviously, if you are working with it, then it's probably is very efficient in regards to time and stuff visualization. Because currently, what at least I used is just the PSQL and listed using the commands there. So just to recap in regards to the things on how we create the tables. So you can see that we just do a query of create table with the ID and the data, and the data is of a JSON-B type. So in regards to Postgres, it is typed and it is a JSON-B type. So yeah, it's probably.
And it's not recognized correctly.
Yeah, probably. All right. So what you've said is you just browsed and scrolled on the database and wanted to see how we implemented the transition from Mongo to Postgres, but you did not run any special cases, or did you manage to work with the system as well?
We tried to, but we couldn't add a function. So every time we tried to add a function, it just would throw an arrow, and then no function would be added.
Yeah, like I said, we don't have it yet in the Postgres. So this is
but we've added some buckets.
Yeah, so we did not make any big tests yet. Just had a quick glance at it.
Yeah. All right. Just deployed the system, looked at the database, scrolled a bit, and yeah. All right.
Yeah. We just wanted to understand if it's in intermediate state, the structure you've used right now, or will there be any developments in the future, so we can adapt our tools we use for altering some of the data. And so we just wanted to understand what is the current situation, what will be the long-term plan for it.
So currently we are staying with it as is, and we don't have any plans on changing it, but it is flexible and we obviously can change that. So I cannot promise you that it won't be changed, the structures and in regards on how we did that. But currently we don't have any plans of something that I know that to change that in that regard.
Yeah. Okay. I think in the future we will have some tests and also stream some data through the new implementation and see how it handles all the load. And if then the functions are implemented, we'll have a test on this as soon as possible as well. So you will get our feedback.
So I assume that after we implement the logging for the database, the functions would be just a quick implement, in my opinion, and we will just advance it.
Yeah, so one thing then we would need then too would be to alter the Postgres DB URL so we can point to our custom instance. This would be nice.
Can you please repeat that?
So like with the MongoDB URL flag, we also would like to alter the Postgres DB URL so that we can point to our custom Postgres URL, because our in-house support, our in-house infrastructure group provides managed Postgres service.
All right. Can you will you be able to open a gap on that in the issues, so we will be able to track this and know that we will need this effort as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
All right, great.
One thing by scrolling through the database we saw was the master keys collection. So I did not see this in MongoDB, if I'm not mistaken.
So the master keys collection is something that we've added. Maybe in your case, you did not. I mean, the master version on MongoDB also has the master keys collection as well. And this is basically allows us to encrypt the data that you have in the database. So and use like a KMS system with the root key that decrypts all of the data in the database. So this is the main thing for this. So it encrypts, for example, if you have a vault system that holds a master key. It is something that NooBaa doesn't know, obviously. So whenever NooBaa deploys, it goes to the vault using the credentials that you configure, pulls out the master key, and then using this master key, it has a hierarchy of the encryptions and decrypts all of the database keys that are encrypted using this master key structure. So I can link the solution for this because we have a document that explains this. So I will post the link here just in order for you to see. So this is the document for this in the chat. Just if it's something that I mean interests you, just to know about it. So this is like the document that explains basically what it is, what's the whole point of this collection. And this collection should be in Mongo on the master as well.
Okay, so yeah, we used the old version of noobaa-core on the master for quite some time now, but with the fix of the authentication problem, now we are moving to a current version, which I'm very happy with.
Yes. So I just need to emphasize that you don't have to have Vault or something. This root key can also be like a secret in your Kubernetes, and you don't need to start deploying Vault and stuff to work.
We already have, so no worries there.
All right, sure. Then maybe you can test this as well. Yeah. So this is something that we are adding in our product. So the capability of interacting with Vault and having those database values keys encrypted by the Vault master key. Yeah.
We'll definitely have a look at this.
Sure. So do you have any points that you want to raise in regards to maybe some gaps or something else?
Quentin, what's on our list?
I think on our issue list, we don't have any major things. No.
So to recap,
one last thing I remember. So you talked with Quentin 2 weeks ago about Knative introduction from us. So we checked back with our for our boss, and it's fine. So I can give you an introduction to Knative whenever you have time. So just set up a meeting, write me up on Slack, and we can do this.
All right. I need to take a look at the availability in regards to our resources as well, because we are overcrowded right now with work and stuff. But it is a good thing, and obviously it is something that interests us a lot as well. To offload those lambdas to Knative would be a good thing, right? Because one of the issues that we have right now is having the endpoints dying and losing the lambda invocations, and instead of just patching it and adding some timeouts and grace moments for it, we can just offload this to Knative and have Knative handle all of this, right?
Yeah, so just write me up with what you are interested in. I will figure out how much I can get information to you. We are using mostly Knative serving. We had some little experience with Knative eventing.
Yeah, I remember.
So if you just write me your questions, and then I can prepare something, and then whenever you have time for a meeting, we can schedule.
Sure, I will get updated with Nimrod in regards to timelines, and come back to you with an answer on that. All right, so the current flow that we want to tackle is we want to make sure that the database logging, then we want to make sure that we have the running invocation of lambdas on lambda functions on trigger functions on Postgres, and then we will cover all of the other gaps that we have, right? And you will open, after this meeting, you will open a gap in regards to configuration of the URL for Postgres, like you've opened on Mongo, right?
Yeah, probably we will do all of this tomorrow already.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, just remember to do that sometime. It doesn't have to be tomorrow or something. Just so we won't miss this. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, cool. Are there any updates from Guy, Nimrod, Iran that we want to update or say something, or should we conclude this meeting for today?
I don't have anything on mind right now.
All right. Okay, so thank you for joining. Highly appreciate that you are taking the time to join and to develop our product and to test it and to use it. And we'll meet up and sync up in the next community meeting in 2 weeks' time. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you also.
Thanks a lot. Have a great